Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz and Finster. I'm the executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, and she isn't, but she sort of thinks she is. Anyway, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com here with the 5 greatest, relax, Mahler recordings. There. She's in the picture. Now, I did the 5 worst Mahler recordings, and one of you said, did you do the 5 greatest Mahler recordings? And I said to myself, how could I not have done the 5 greatest Mahler recordings? And I went back and looked, and we hadn't done the 5 greatest Mahler recordings. And as soon as I said that, Finster showed up to join us in the festivities, at least for a minute. She's feeling much better after her oral surgery. And believe it or not, I got all 3 pills into her. It's amazing. She's so food motivated. All I had to do was stuff them in one of those little chewy treats, and she just sucked them right up, which I think helped considerably. I really do. So anyway, the 5 greatest Mahler recordings. Finster, sit down and relax. Okay? Just relax. Yes. Good girl. There we go. First, Symphony No. 1. Kubelik on DG. Obviously, this has been sort of the reference recording since the dawn of time. It's not the best sonically. It's good. I mean, it's perfectly good. It was on DG Originals. They cleaned it up. Bavarian radio recordings were always very good. It's a little bit studio bound. Actually, sonically, I think, but it's not terrible, and the performance is just fresh and spontaneous and light and full of charm and exciting. It's very exciting. The tempos are generally swift, and Kubelik nails the klezmer music of the Funeral March like nobody else. The trumpets wailing. Oh my gosh, it's just beautiful. It's an absolutely fabulous performance. And so it remains, even though there have been lots of other good ones. I mean, this one really is special. Next, Symphony No. 2, Resurrection. It's got to be the Bernstein DG recording. It has to be. Not because I saw it live 50 times. I mean, I went to every single concert where they took the recording from. But, if there's anything I cannot tolerate, it's a Mahler performance that just sounds like some sort of ordinary subscription night doodad, of no particular significance. Mahler symphonies are big deals. He intended that they be big deals. He intended that most of them fill up an entire program all by themselves, except for 1 and 4, but otherwise, more or less. And, to treat them as they so often do today, as just these sort of ordinary, let's go to the symphony and see what they're doing. Oh, look, it's Mahler, who cares? No, it has to be an event. And I mean, the resurrection, look at the title, look at the forces required, look at the scale of the thing. I mean, it's got to be humongous and powerful. And Bernstein understood that, and that's what he delivered. People say, Bernstein was so, exaggerated and demonstrative emotionally. Well, yes, he was, but Mahler was very demonstrative emotionally and exaggerated. And more to the point, it's what this piece demands. I can understand people objecting to Bernstein if this is what he did in Mozart's G minor symphony, and it lasted 2.5 hours and he was going crazy all over it. That I would get. But in Mahler's Second Symphony, I mean, just come on, folks. It's got to be the most grand and stunning thing that you can possibly do. And that doesn't always carry over on recordings, but in this case it did. And it's unquestionably one of the great Mahler recordings. And it took Bernstein three attempts to get it right, because he recorded it 3 times, plus other movement and bits elsewhere. And it didn't ever quite come off in terms of proportions. But here, everything is drawn to scale, huge scale. And the playing is phenomenal. And the soloists are great. And it all just works. So there we go. Enough said. Symphony No. 8. This is another one that's a bit like the second, it's a bit like the second, only less so in most people's minds. And it is a magnificent work, but it often isn't played that way. But Anthony Witt on Naxos blew my mind, and everyone else's, by taking the eighth on its own terms, having one of those recordings where, I mean, he's a fabulous conductor of large choral works. He really is. And he draws the whole piece to scale. The choirs sing fabulously. He's got a terrific lineup of soloists. Everyone's doing their job. The microphones, the recording is so good. It's just like set up the microphones and let everything happen naturally the way it sounds at a concert, which it almost never does. I mean, they multi-mic it and all. This is a panorama of a recording, and it's magnificent. It's absolutely magnificent. He doesn't put a foot wrong anywhere. You hear everything you're supposed to hear. Everybody does their job, and the result is magnificent. It really is. It sounds just terrific. So, that's another one of these great Mahler recordings, and it came out of nowhere. I mean, nobody expected it. With, Polish forces, they just did a tremendous job. They did. So the eighth is, not a Mahler symphony that even Mahlerians generally cotton to. It seems to be a bit too much sometimes, or too easy, or too, I don't know what. But when you do it right, magic happens, and it happens there. Next, Symphony No. 9. Oh, there are lots of really great Mahler 9s, let's face it. But I chose Karajan, his live recording on DG. It's a knockout. His first one was great, too, the studio one. But this one, the remake, first of all, doesn't have the mistake of the Rondo Burlesque where the E-flat clarinet comes in a bar early and throws everybody off. That's actually kind of a fun moment because you get to hear Karajan waiting till everyone catches up and it all comes back together. It all happens in a couple bars. Rather nifty to see how, orchestras recover from strange things happening. It happens all the time. But this particular ninth, it's live, it's stunning. It was wonderfully well recorded and even better remastered in the Karajan Gold edition. I mean, they made it sound great. And wow, what a performance. I mean, it really shows why Karajan in Berlin had the reputation they did, what they could do when they were firing on all cylinders. And, it's interesting because Karajan Live was very different from Karajan Studio. He in the studio, there's all that slick velveteen sound all there. But here, you hear woodwinds, you hear brass. He's got one hell of a tam-tam crash at the climax of the first movement. It's really exciting and special. And all of that comes out, it culminates in a finale where the string playing is simply, incomprehensibly fabulous. Where that Karajan approach to just powerful string sonority really, really pays off. It's magnificent, absolutely magnificent, and one of a kind event. And Mahler symphonies should always sound like one of a kind events. They should. They are events, And last but not least, Das Lied von der Erde with Janet Baker, James King, Bernard Haitink on Decca. This is one of the greatest recordings of anything ever made. The Das Lied competition basically comes down to this one, where, the Klemperer with Norman with Norman, what am I saying? The Klemperer with Christel Ludwig and Fritz Wunderlich. Those are the people. But Haitink has the better orchestra. I think his conducting is actually better. His pacing is better. But the playing of the Concertgebouw is incredible. Janet Baker is incredible. James King is a real Helden tenor. It's just everything went right. And it's significant when you consider that Haitink, who went running around re-recording everything a billion times, didn't touch Das Lied von der Erde after this recording came out, because it was impossible to improve upon. It's just perfect. And so there you have it. The 5 greatest Mahler recordings. Let me know what your choices are. They better be good ones. And none of this namby-pamby, minuscule, diminutive Mahler as just sort of an everyday, not special occurrence. It's got to be special. Really special. Monumentally special. So keep on listening, friends. Thanks for joining me. Hey, you. You're okay, too? Yeah, okay. And Finster says, thank you for joining us. I think she says that. What are you doing up there? There we go. Say thank you to everybody. Yeah. Okay. We tried. Take care.